Good morning. I'm God. I met Jesus on the 2nd of December 2019. And it's funny how I met him on the 2nd of December because it's like the second coming. And that's what date it was. And then I went back to see him a few days later, or the next day, and I worked out that 2 days later his name was Dr. King, because his date of birth was 24th of May 1979, and then his full name's Daniel Reuben King, and the first initials of Daniel Reuben King is DR, like Dr. King, and that's his new name. He's got like long curly hair. He says he's known Jesus since when I came to see him. I didn't come to see him. Well, my mind, it didn't go well. Anyway, I came to see this other guy who claimed to be my spiritual father, and he's called Tony, or Two Tone, or 2 Tons of Bricks, and I got discharged from Heaven Hospital on the 19th of November 2019, and then 22 days later or something, I went back to see this guy Tony. Since I came up to his room, and there was another guy sitting in his room. And I said to Tony, "Who's this?" And he said, "It's Jesus." And I said, "Yes, we did it." Like, in September 2019, I'd been on Glaven ward and in Heaven Hospital, and I'd been, well, it was Helsden Hospital, and it was called Helsden Hospital, and not London, but Helsden. And I was just walking around in circles. I kept walking around in circles because I was nervous, and I was thinking, well, when's Jesus coming to Glaven ward? Because it felt like we've got everyone else, like there's me, and there's the Father of the universe, and then this guy called Tony who claimed to be my father. And so I was just getting really anxious because I thought, well, we've got everyone else, then Jesus is the only person who's missing. And I was walking around in circles for hours and just nervous. And then Abdus Salam Maya, the Father of the universe, he came to the dining room, and I asked him, like, "Where's Jesus?" or "When's Jesus coming in?" And he said, "Don't worry, that Jesus has been resurrected and he's on his way, and he's the saviour of Christianity." And I was like, alright, well, that calmed me down a little bit, and that was September 2019. And then on November the 11th, I was watching TV, and it was the Royal Albert Hall, and they were doing like the usual stuff, like not celebrating, the opposite of celebrating, and the Queen started crying, and Queen Elizabeth the two, and I thought, right, it's time to get my act together. So after I saw her crying, I was like, right, it's Judgment Day now, and Judgment Day was going to last 24 hours, and then whoever made it till the next day, it was going to be heaven on earth. And it's like 24 hours later, I was in room G56 in Glavenwood, and Judgment Day turned to heaven on earth, and then that was the 12th of November. So then 7 days later, I got released from Heaven Hospital. Like, I turned Helsden Hospital into Heaven Hospital. And there's some gates in the garden of Glavenwood. There's these gates, and that's the gates of heaven now. And then I went home, and like, I was thinking a lot, and I thought I should go back to visit the people there soon, because I missed them. And so I came back on the 2nd of December at night time, and met Daniel Reuben King, and he said he doesn't like to brag, but he just knows he's Jesus, and he's the first person I ever met who believed he was Jesus, and I was the first person he ever met who knew I was God. And then when I went home that night, I was really nervous, but I'd say before, like, I saw him in the window, this two-tone, and then I asked him to get out in the garden so I could go around the building and talk through him through the fence instead of through the window. And talked to him, and he was showing me where he cut himself, and I had scars on my arm, and he said it's close to where my scar is, like on the same arm, right arm, and he said he did it on purpose. He just felt like he had to do it, like. And that was that, like, so, I don't know, what else do you want to know? I don't really believe in when it's written in the Bible that he got someone out of a cave and they weren't alive for 4 days, and then he made him come back to life. I don't believe in that. I think Jesus was cutting himself because he was guilty he was guilty to me that he'd lied, and that's why he was cutting himself, to show me he was sorry. And because he took a lot of my supporters to him, and then people were worshipping Jesus for like I don't know how long, but could have been like he started gaining more supporters than I had. But I got two half brothers called Joe, and then when you put two halves together, you get one whole thing. And I was thinking, well, that means that's trying to remind me that I'm in the English faith. I'm like Joseph, Jesus' father, and I think I was born as Joseph reincarnated, and then God was like I was like the go-to person for God, like God knew he could trust me or something, and so I believe that, I got close to God, and I started praying I prayed once when I was 7, and then I started praying again when I was 14. I started praying every day for 2.5 years or something. And then one day I was like, dear God, just please come inside my head so I don't need to pray anymore, and I've got all the wisdom protection I need on me. And I felt a muscle contraction in the right side of my head. And I took that as the sign that's coming now. But that was the year 2000. I was 16 years old. And then in 2010, 10 years later, I was 26 years old, and I moved into this house, moved into this flat it was my first independent place, like council flat. It had its own front door, and I'd go up the stairs. It was on the first floor, and it was called 16 Guardian Road. And 16 means like at the age of 16 I became God, and Guardian Road is guardians. Well, it has connotation. Guardian Roads starts with a G, and then road has got an O in it, and then it ends with D, and it says like 16 God, and at 16 years old I became God.